3 or 4 months. They say normally it takes at least 6 months, but she's doing real well. But all of a sudden she started getting this burning sensation through her buttocks in her genital region. Look at that burning sensation.
Yeah.
And
that happened how soon after the surgery? That happened
about 4 or 5 days after she came home.
Well, 4 or 5 days.
And it got so bad, she was going to therapy, but the people over there, she was supposed to go, I think, like 3 days a week, and rather than go every other day or something, it was having to come 2 days in a row, and it was just too much for her. The burning got worse, so she had to stop the therapy. And she just couldn't handle it. The pain was too much.
Okay. And then, so then what were y'all doing then?
Well, we started looking for different medications that might help. Our primary care provider over here gave her some numerous medications. She started out, when she came home from the hospital, she had some Dilaudid, week's supply, and then they put her on morphine and hydrocodone on both. They said the burning was that bad, the pain was that bad. And we tried over 30 different drugs, and nothing was helping her. We would try one for 6 or 8 weeks, and if it wasn't helping her, we would stop it and go to something else. Now she's on about maybe six drugs, 3 psychiatric drugs, and then 3 nerve drugs, I guess. But we started going to different specialists, trying to find an answer to this burning, and it kept getting worse and worse. We went to a neurosurgeon in Covington, and he thought that she might have had something called piriformis disease. And we went to a pain management doctor here in town, and he eliminated piriformis disease. And at that time, she was on some serious heavy-duty meds. At that time, I think she was taking like 90 milligrams of morphine a day, 30 milligrams of hydrocodone. And he thought that he would try some epidurals, so he gave her a series of epidurals, 3 of them, and none of them really helped. And he said that he had one last thing that he could try. And he tried a nerve block shot, and that seemed to offer her some relief. But before that, we saw a vascular surgeon in Covington. He thought she might have some sort of blockage in her legs or something that would be causing this pain and this burning, so he did an angiogram on her legs. There was no blockage that could be causing this. So we got the nerve block shot. Her gynecologist checked her out, and there was another nerve that the gynecologist wanted somebody to look at. And this pain doctor checked it out, and the gynecologist checked it out. I think it's a pendula nerve. It's a female nerve in the vaginal region. That wasn't causing the problem, so that was eliminated. Piriformis syndrome was eliminated. The vascular surgeon eliminated a blockage in her legs. And we're still trying to find the source for this burning pain because it's getting worse and worse for her by the day. And so we started coating her with ice bags. And she would sit on these ice bags. I ended up buying, 2 or 3 dozen of them. I couldn't keep them frozen. She would come sit in the garage for an hour or so with these ice bags all over. She was sitting on them, wrapped in a towel. She had them on her legs, and everywhere with the ice bags. And after an hour or so, she'd go back to bed and lay down. And then an hour or so, she'd be burning real bad. We'd come back out to the garage and coat her again. And this went on for a period of weeks. And since the doctor who did the nerve block shot seemed to think that maybe he found what the problem was, he recommended that Dottie try a trial spinal cord stimulator. And that ended up being done almost a year ago to the day. That was done March the 30th of last year. The trial only lasted about 3 days. Normally it lasts 5 or 6 days. But Dottie was swollen so bad with all these medications she was on. He was afraid she was going to get an infection or something because it was leaking real bad in her back. So he decided to take it out. But we thought that maybe it was helping her. So we decided to go ahead and get a permanent implant, spinal cord stimulator. And we had that done, like I said, about a year ago. Permanently was installed.
So these implants that they put in, you told me that, that there's a button that she could press, and it's supposed to make her brain, trick her brain.
Well, she has a battery that's implanted in her back that has to be charged every couple of days. But that battery has leads going down to different nerve areas. And this permanent one was installed, I think, from the L4, L5 area of the spine, plus the sciatic nerve. That's where it went. And she has a handheld remote, and her stimulator has 4 different programs. And on the 4 different programs, she can alter the voltage, make it stronger, weaker. She can alter the pulse width, and she can alter the rate of the electrical stimulation. So there's a lot of variables there.
Yeah.
So a couple of days after the permanent implant was installed, lo and behold, the burning sensation all went away.
Yeah.
But she started feeling cold throughout her body. Where she was feeling the burning, now all of a sudden it became cold. And so the cold started progressively getting worse, just like the burning was progressively getting worse. And it's this cold, frigid feeling throughout her body is incapacitating. She lays in bed all day on heating pads.
Yeah, you said one time that you had 8 different heating pads plugged up. And
trying to get it warm. And sometimes she would change programs and alter things, and it would give her some relief. Well, one by one, the programs stopped giving her any relief. And she's at the stage with it now where it's on the last program that gave her any relief, and she doesn't alter anything. All she does is charge the battery once every couple of days or so. She doesn't change anything anymore because it doesn't seem to be helping her any at all. So after the cold problem surfaced, we kept looking for an answer. That there was a group in Texas that knew a lot more about these types of diseases than they did, and they would readily admit it. And it was the TIR group, TIRR, Texas Institute for Research and Recovery. And he said that he would have Dr. Shabria here in Slidell, our neurologist here, get us a referral for TIR over in Houston. And she did. We ended up going to Houston. We ended up driving to Houston. We had a appointment to see a Dr. Fenway there, and he's at the Memorial Hermann Hospital in North Texas, which is part of the TIR group. And he was a neurologist. He was a neurosurgeon. So we met with him. It took us 4 days to drive over there. Dottie can't drive longer than 2 hours at a time. We take out of the back seat of the car, and I've got an inverter in the car, and I've got 3 pads hooked up in the car. She still can drive more than 2 hours at a time. It took us 4 days to get her to Houston. We met with him.
But I mean, when you were driving, I mean, she could sit in the car for a couple hours and then.
No, she lays down in the back seat on heating.
She would lay in the back seat, and it's still, even that, I mean, for 2 hours, that was too much. I mean, the pain was too much, right? So y'all had to stop at a hotel, like every 2 hours, a different hotel.
And I'd let her stay in the car with the engine running, and I would have a bag of heating pads. I'd go get a room, go up to the room, lay the heating pads out in the bed. Once I got all that set up, then I would take her to the room and put her in bed.
So it took 4 different nights to get to Texas from here. Okay. Sorry. So
and that's about normally a 7-8 hour drive max.
Yeah.
So we saw him, and he thought that she might have something called RSV, reflective sensory disease. It's also known as CRPS, chronic reflective pain syndrome. And he said that if that were the case, then maybe a second trial spinal cord stimulator across the thoracic cord might help her. So he said, okay. Again, go home, took 4 days. We had this other trial stimulator a week. But before she had it put in, the doctor there wanted to try something with Dottie. He asked her to turn the thing off for 2 weeks. Turn her remote off for 2 weeks to see what happened. I think he wanted to see if the burning would come back.
Okay, yeah.
So she turned it off for 2 weeks. The burning never came back. The cold seemed to get worse, but I think she lasted maybe 9 or 10 days. And she'd been so cold for that amount of time, we called him and asked him if she could turn it back on. He said, yeah. So she did. So she had the second trial implant done by the doctor, Harrison in Covington. And she left it in for a week, and it didn't help at all. So we talked with Dr. Shabria, the neurologist over here, and she said that she agreed with Dr. Benoit in Houston that maybe she has RSD. So she wanted us just to work with him on any medications that we might think might help. We ended up seeing a psychiatrist over at Mandeville, and he said that he definitely thought she had RSD. He said that right now there's a lot of the vets coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan with RSD, and he thought that that's seriously with what she had. So now we've got 3 doctors saying that maybe they think that's what she had. So he was going to talk with some of his friends at Tulane to see if anybody there could treat her for this. And he's told us to get online with the internet, to speed the process up, see if we can find anybody else either. So we found an RSD institute in Tampa that does a 4-day IV ketamine treatment for RSD. So we drove to Tampa again, 4-day trip to get there. We had to stay over the weekend because
this time you rented a van.
Yeah.
Right, this time you rented a van so that way you could clear out the back so that way you could have an area to lay out. And,
right.
But still, 2 hours, you have to stop.
And then
yeah.
Same thing. I'd go in and check the room, go upstairs, get the bed ready, keep the beds, and I'd take a look at the room.
Yeah.
So we got down there. We saw him on a Monday, because we saw him on a Friday, because that's when they see out of town patients. He explained to her that this may or may not work, that he wasn't entirely sure that she had RSD, but that the decision, really, he would leave it up to us. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. And since we drove down there and we were prepared to do it, we told him yes, we'd like to do it. So we had to stay over the weekend. They start the treatments on Monday. You do it for 4 days, and on Friday you go in for consultation. So all in all, this was a 3-week trip to go to Tampa to do this. She had 4 days of 4 hours a day of these IV ketamine treatments, and they did not help at all. So he said that he thought she might have something called Berger's disease. We've never heard of it, but based on the condition, he was looking at her feet and things, and thought maybe it's Berger's disease. So we got home. And then we had a vascular surgeon see her, the same one who did both of the angiograms. And she does not have Berger's disease. She does not have multiple sclerosis. She does not have lupus. She does not have fibromyalgia. We've seen probably over 24 different doctors, specialists, neurosurgeons, neurologists, vascular surgeons, you name it, trying to find an answer to her problem. About 4 weeks ago, Dottie developed a new problem. She started feeling these bugs crawling on her. And she knows her imagination, but it was a strange feeling she never had. And after about a week, that progressed to snakes and bugs. And she started getting worse hallucinations. And she knows that they're imaginary, but it's things that are feeling. Things are going on with her nervous system and things. And she was continually getting worse every day with these hallucinations. So we got her to go to an Oceans Behavioral Hospital in Kenner. It's an 18-bed specialty psychiatric hospital for seniors. We took her there so that they could look at all the medication she's taking and maybe eliminate some if she's getting too much of something. You know, we were just thinking that, excuse me, we were thinking that somehow she's over-medicating or something. They reduced some of the meds, and they're slowly bringing some of them back. She's been there for about 9 or 10 days now. And I don't think she's getting any better yet. I don't think she feels like she is.
Yeah, I think you had also mentioned if she, like, when she gets out, that we might go try to get a brain CT scan. That might be the next step when she gets out.
Yeah, I'm going to get our primary care provider over here to get this.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We really appreciate it. We made it in hopes to, to reach out for answers. If you or anybody else has any information that could help us out with this, we'd really love to hear from you. And thanks so much.
Please help our grandma feel better.